Congress is in power in 2 of the 5 states that are going to the polls. But these are small states of Uttarakhand and Manipur. Within the party, they are hopeful of wresting Punjab from the Shiromani Akali Dal BJP combined and also feel that they have a fighting chance of retaining Uttarakhand, which of course only evens the score. But what is giving the grand old party some hope is the alliance with the Samajwadi Party. If the alliance manages to keep the BJP out from the state, then the Congress would see this as a win on its electoral balance sheet. That is why Rahul Gandhi has a certain spring in his step these days and a certain exuberance with the way he is taking on Prime Minister Narendra Modi directly.
Demonetization एक बहाना है। नरेंद्र मोदी जी को पता लग रहा है कि वो योगा के पीछे, मेक इन इंडिया के पीछे, स्किल इंडिया के पीछे नहीं छुप पाएंगे। और जब उनको घबराहट हुई कि अब मैं कहां छुपूं, तो उन्होंने अपने जो होममेड इकोनॉमिक्स है, क्या नाम है उनके, क्या नाम है उनका, बाबा रामदेव और ये भोगले जी हैं, क्या नाम है पता नहीं मुझे, भोगले जी हैं, उनके पीछे जाके वो छुपने की कोशिश की।
The Congress, of course, is very keen to make these elections a referendum on demonetization, for it genuinely believes that the move will boomerang on the Prime Minister. Sources claim that BJP is not too keen to make demonetization its sole poll plank, and party leaders have been asked to focus on local issues as well.
राजनीति गरीबों की करता हूं, मगर गरीबों के बीच में कभी जाता नहीं हूं। फटे हुए कपड़े मैं कभी पहनता नहीं हूं। ये भी मैं देख रहा था, यहां पे मेरा कुर्ता फटा हुआ है, ये देखो, मैं आपको एक और तो मैं देखता हूं कि भैया मेरा यहाँ पॉकेट फटा है, ये मेरा कुर्ता फटा है, ठीक है, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता। नहीं, नरेंद्र मोदी जी का पॉकेट कभी नहीं फटेगा, नरेंद्र मोदी जी का कुर्ता कभी खराब नहीं दिखेगा, मगर नरेंद्र मोदी जी गरीबी की राजनीति करते हैं, फटे कपड़ों वालों की राजनीति करते हैं।
However, with Rahul there is always the problem of consistency and credibility. He has been leading from the front, taking on the Prime Minister on demonetization, but once the campaign gained ground, Rahul went off on one of his famous sabbaticals, and after his return had even scheduled a visit to China along with a Congress delegation. He only cancelled this visit after much criticism about his lackadaisical approach to the coming elections, hardly reassuring signals for his party. And now to discuss whether this umpteenth launch of brand Rahul is successful or not, can he finally deliver? Well, joining me is Aarti Jairaj. She is a columnist and a political analyst. We have Dr. Madhav Nalapat. He's editorial director of the Sunday Guardian. Dr. Sanjaya Baru, he's political analyst, former editor, and he's also written a very interesting book on Dr. Manmohan Singh's Prime Minister's office. Dr. Baru, I'll begin with you. Rahul is once again asserting himself, taking on Modi directly, particularly on demonetization. Do you buy this? Do you think it's going to work?
Well, so far it hasn't. I mean, frankly, the opposition has failed to build a momentum against the government on demonetization. Everybody talks about some subterranean anger, etc. But, you know, we saw, for example, in the last 24 hours, the hundreds of people coming out of Marina Beach in Chennai, defending Jallikattu. Now, why couldn't the Congress get 200 people onto the main street of any city in the country against demonetization? The fact is that the opposition parties have not tried, they have not succeeded. And certainly UP, you know, the fact that he is now hitching himself on to somebody else's cycle doesn't say much about his leadership abilities. So I don't see any, you know, the media particularly I think in Delhi likes to put him on front page every other day, but I don't see on the ground, and even today, when you talk to people in the Congress party, on the ground, there is still yearning for something. They say Sonia should come back and be more active. Oh, Priyanka, we should, you know, this is the kind of talk. Hardcore congressman. I think the general vote of the verdict on Rahul is a vote of no confidence.
Even now, Narvar, would you agree with that? Even now, because something like demonetization is an issue he has been taking up pretty strongly, going to ATM, meeting people, taking a lot of initiatives.
Actually, Modi has been very clever on demonetization. He has cast those who oppose it as being in favor of black money.
Rahul's handling of it, he has, he's one person who is speaking against it pretty openly.
I think we have been a little unfair to Rahul Gandhi for the simple fact that he has been technically the vice president and a leader when effectively his mama's team has been in charge. I mean, Rahul frankly had very little say in the Congress party till very recently. Now over the last maybe 15, 16 months, there's more Rahul in the Congress party and mama's team is now slowly being edged out or taking a back seat. Now I think you can judge Rahul Gandhi only when he takes full control of the party and not when frankly Mama's team was still in charge.
You mean Mama as in Italian or Mama as in Hindi?
Well, I'd like to say that, there's only one Mama possible for any human being. That's all.
Fair enough. But Aarti, we had Ahmed Patel saying at the National Convention recently, Sonia ji ki prerna aur Rahul Gandhi ka netritva. So it's pretty clear that she is taking a step back and he is taking a step forward. How do you see him his handling of last 6 months, say?
Priya, when he became vice president at the Jaipur Convention, which was about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. We've been waiting for Rahul to take over since then, and he still hasn't taken over. We've been hearing about an organizational reshuffle. We see Rahul's team come into sort of positions, office bearer positions. Has that happened? No, there's been no organizational reshuffle. Yes, Rahul may be taking decisions, but he needs to set up an organizational structure which has his imprint, so that you very clearly see that Rahul Gandhi is in charge. We haven't seen that happen yet. So, I really don't know. It's still like waiting for Rahul Gandhi to come.
Perpetual work in progress.
Yeah, like waiting for Godot, it's sort of waiting for Rahul Gandhi.
So poor fellow, he's arrived and no one has even realized he's arrived. That's the really tragedy of it.
On demonetization, let me add 2 more points. One is that it was Mr. Rahul Gandhi initially who actually took the leadership against the government on the demonetization issue. But nobody noticed that till Dr. Manmohan Singh stood in Parliament and spoke. That was really the turning point when the case against demonetization was taken seriously.
Correct.
Till that date, nobody was paying attention to what Rahul was saying. Second thing I would say is that, yesterday, for example, the Congress, or the day before, Congress party announced that they would do dharna outside RBI offices. And then Dr. Manmohan Singh goes to the standing committee and says that, this institution should not be heckled. Don't go after the institution. It's a political fight against the government. Don't fight the RBI. Don't embarrass the RBI governor. So you can see a more nuanced positioning by Dr. Manmohan Singh. Why couldn't Rahul be equally clever? He started, he had this meeting with Mamata Banerjee to begin with on demonetization.
And she stole the show.
And she stole the show. So I think even on the earlier question of yours on demonetization, but what you just asked is whether it's a launch that didn't take off. Right?
Many launches that didn't take off.
Yeah, that's the history of Rahul's launches. Right from day one. If you remember, I think in 2000, the last UP election, 2012 minus 5. No, 12 minus 5.
When he took charge of
2007.
When he said no
2007, right? I was at that time still in government. And I remember distinctly in a conversation with Dr. Manmohan Singh making the point that if Rahul had put himself up as a chief ministerial candidate, that I will be the chief minister if the Congress comes to power. The Congress would have done much better. But he was not willing to take those risks. So that was his first major political intervention, 2007. And after that, he has not been able to show that he has won a state for the Congress. I keep saying, in business, people respect those who make money. In politics, people respect those who win elections.
Correct.
That's simple.
And Rahul hasn't been able to deliver at all. So what is the way out for the Congress?
Well, I'd like to point out that Dr. Manmohan Singh, a very noble individual, he lost the only election that he really seriously contested, which was in
Because
Delhi.
it was sabotaged by the Congress party in Delhi at that time. 1999 you're talking
never
about.
really fought an election. And if I may say so, his intervention on favor of the Reserve Bank governor, I'm not sure it has gone to the benefit of the Congress party. It's certainly gone to the benefit of the current government. The reality is, what is angering people with bank accounts the most is the fact that they don't have access to their own money. So if you stop if you stop questioning on that particular line of action, you're basically stopping questioning on something that is very politically sensitive and which could go to the benefit of the opposition. So I'm not entirely sure that Manmohan Singh is the best individual to carry forward the Congress politically.
No, we're not saying, are you saying that?
Well, in Punjab, he's been the face, along with Amrinder Singh. He launched the manifesto.
That's true.
So
Yeah,
I
and
think-
Rahul Gandhi was missing.
And Rahul Gandhi
was missing. I
Good
mean,
point.
you know, here you are
Very
launching
good
the manifesto for a state which should be scripting the return of the Congress's comeback story.
And it's Dr.
And
Manmohan Singh.
Rahul Gandhi was not there. And, you know, everybody was asking, where is Rahul? Why is he missing from there? So, you know, you see, I think it's all very well to make these fiery speeches, and, you know, mind you, Rahul, I think, has learned to speak much better today. His delivery is better. He's much wittier. He's, you know, got humor in his speeches, and, you know, he seems to be actually even able to get a spark, you know, response from the audience. I mean, his recent speeches have been very good. So he's been attacking Modi, and maybe some of it is having resonance. But, you know, at the end of the day, Priya, it has to be more than just attacking Modi. He has to somehow bring the Congress back to power, right? That is, as Sanjay said, you know, you have to win an election.
Yeah.
And that can only come if you revamp your organization, you put some muscle into it, and you get it fighting fit to fight an election. Look at them in Punjab today.
Yeah.
You know, that's a state which actually, I mean, all right, we have this Aam Aadmi Party hype and all, but technically it should be a two-horse race between the Congress and the Akalis, right? What I'm hearing in Punjab is that there are some 35 seats in which there's active infighting going on in the Congress with, you know, congressmen trying to sabotage other congressmen. Now, I mean, this is something that Rahul needs to address, and address very, you know, decisively and quickly if he wants to make the organization fighting fit to fight this election. But, you know, he doesn't seem to show any interest in it. It's been, I don't know, outsourced to, I don't know who's handling it. Maybe Amrinder, but, you know, even Amrinder is not really quite an organizer. He's an effective campaigner, but he's not an organization man. So ultimately, it boils down to what kind of an organization is Rahul Gandhi going to be able to create so that it becomes a winning, so that the Congress once again becomes a winning machine. And that is where I think he's really plunged.
And what is stopping him from wresting the party back from his mother's people? I mean, he's effectively in charge.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the spunk Akhilesh has shown.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, Rahul needs to get into as ugly a fight with his mother as Akhilesh has got into with his father. But at the end of the day, the buzz about Akhilesh is because he's shown that spunk, you know, that he stood up and he said that, no, this is my party. So I think people are waiting for Rahul to show some spunk also and say that, look, this is my party and I'm going to craft it in my own image. I'm going to build my own team, promote younger people, you know, give it a fresh look. Still waiting.
That's the key. You know, you look at every generational transition across political parties, and the most recent example being that of Mr. Narendra Modi in the BJP. How did Mr. Narendra Modi emerge at the national level? By fighting his own party first. He fought Advani, he fought Murli Manohar Joshi, he fought Sushma Swaraj, he fought all the senior leaders of an earlier generation, and then won the leadership of his party. One can think of many other examples. Chandrababu Naidu in Telugu Desam Party. Or even earlier, Congress, Indira Gandhi.
Right.
She fought the Congress She fought an earlier generation. In politics, people respect you if you fight your way up. You know. And the problem with Rahul is he's not fighting his way up because there's so much jihuzuri going on. Even if he shouts at somebody, people say jihuzur and walk away. You know, somebody should stand up to fight him and then he can fight them. I don't think even he does fight with the mother, but he can certainly fight with that older generation. A man like Digvijay.
Right.
Right?
Well,
He's a good candidate for Rahul to be seen to be fighting. I mean, there are all these old generation people hanging around the party.
So I don't think we're going to take a quick break, but after that we're going to come and discuss who should Rahul pick up a fight with. I think that's a very interesting topic. welcome back to Cover Story. We are discussing Rahul Gandhi and, well, when will he finally deliver? Now, but before the break, he says Rahul needs to do something to prove his credibility. He has a huge credibility problem. So, what does he do? There's no confrontation. I have not seen any revolt against Rahul. I've only heard whispers. No one has really... We had Captain Amrinder, Sandeep Dixit initially questioning him, but they've also kept quiet now.
Rahul Gandhi does not need to fight anybody in his own party. He has to show that he is a very credible force against the individual who is the most significant now in Indian politics and the bedrock of his party's popularity, which is Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He has to really target Modi. Now, he has already...
Can he take a more, doable foe, like the Akalis? If he gets more involved in the Punjab elections, defeating the Akalis is something he can. Let him be get one...
We are sitting in Delhi, and obviously the Punjab is next door to Delhi, but quite frankly, in the canvas of Indian politics, it's not going to make very much of a difference who wins in Chhattisgarh, who wins in Punjab. The big prize is Uttar Pradesh. Now here, I'm not sure that he's going to take a backseat. If he takes a backseat,
he's already taken a backseat.
That's the end of his political career.
But he's already done that. I mean, once you hitch yourself to another party, that to a party that seems to be originally suffering from anti-incumbency. So he's already shown.
So, Sanjay, the question is one of timing. I think this chap has got age on his side. And I believe that their strategy, very frankly, is to ensure that the BJP and specifically Prime Minister Modi not come back in 2019. They're not as concerned about who's going to be the Prime Minister or who's going to form the Prime Minister in 2019, except that the BJP should not be there and Modi should not be there. And I believe they're looking at the election after that. Now, if that is the case, they have time on their side. If that is the case, it makes sense to have strategic alliances, as if, for example, they had in Bihar and now they have in UP.
No, but what about the states where the Congress is a force? UP, I mean, the Congress died many years ago, Bihar, the Congress died many years ago. But what about states where, the BJP is the other pole of politics? For instance, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Punjab where it was,
even Gujarat.
Goa, Gujarat. Surely these are states that Rahul can pick up one by one and, do something about the Congress's organization, which is decaying, and, prove his credentials as somebody who can win an election for the Congress. Yeah. I think it's important, however small the states may be, but, Rahul needs to win an election to convince people in the Congress that yes, he can do it.
Yes,
I think that's very important.
I agree. Actually, he's got a very strong challenger, and that is the Aam Aadmi Party. I think we're all underestimating the potential future kinetic force of the Aam Aadmi Party. The BJP has not underestimated it, and certainly the CBI in its independence has not underestimated the Aam Aadmi Party. I think the Delhi police, also a very independent force, has not underestimated the Aam Aadmi Party. I think the Congress Party, is probably underestimating him. The Congress Party is going to face its biggest challenge, not so much from the BJP, because they are basically conflicting constituencies, from the Aam Aadmi Party. You're going to see that in Goa, you're seeing that in the Punjab, you're going to probably see it across the country.
And Gujarat. Gujarat actually is a good state for Rahul to prove his mantle, it's more doable than...
particularly with all this Patel agitation and,
Hardik Patel may steal it from him in Gujarat.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I mean, I agree with Aarthi that, there are all these Congress states, and I come from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and in Telangana and in Andhra Pradesh, the Congress has simply disintegrated as a party. That was the hardcore Congress base. After the emergency also, we elected Indirama back.
Correct.
It's completely finished. So, state after state, as she says, UP, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, now probably even Kerala, where Monu comes from, party is disintegrating. Now, in Gujarat, I don't know how much stamina is left in that party to take on the might of Mr. Modi and the BJP. I think, Rajasthan is a potential for Congress to actually, they have a good person there, Sachin Pilot.
If they let him.
If they let him, exactly. You build a local leadership and then allow that local leadership to take you up. If Amrinder wins in Punjab, these are where you rebuild the party from the state level. And I'm all for rebuilding the Congress. I mean, I do think that India needs two national parties. I dread the day when Aam Aadmi Party will become a national party. I dread the day when all these regional parties, replace the Congress across the country, what Monu is saying. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope India has an option between one national party and another national party.
Yeah.
But right now Congress is a regional party. In Karnataka, where they are in power, it is Siddaramaia's government. It is not a Rahul Gandhi government. You know, the government will fall if Siddaramaiah is removed as chief minister, right? So in Punjab it will be Amarinder's government. But that is the way to rebuild the Congress. You know, by building regional leaders.
Setup. And that is the whole problem, you know, with the Congress, you know, whether it was Indira Gandhi or even Rajiv and now Rahul, they don't want to promote strong regional leaders.
Absolutely. I mean, the process started during Indira Gandhi's time. Anybody who was strong, you know, she just cut down.
Correct.
And, you know, Rajiv continued the process. And I think under Sonia Gandhi, it was, you know, I mean, really the only criteria, you know, during the Sonia era was loyalty. You know, I don't think she ever considered merit or ever considered, you know, the sort of political strength of a person. And so, you know, you actually ended up with very vapid people as your state leaders. And Rahul is sort of continuing with that, you know. Even his choice of, you know, the so-called Team Rahul, who are these people? None of them seem to have any real political ground experience. You know, none of them have worked in the party, you know, at an organizational level.
Ruthless wonders.
That's right, and they've come with big fancy degrees, but you know, that's no substitute for real work experience on the ground.
Correct.
So, you know, I mean, I think this is where Rahul's biggest failure lies. You know, that he needs to address the crumbling organization of the Congress, and he needs to do something about that, because otherwise I'm afraid the Congress will just sort of fade into the twilight.
Isn't that Rahul's, and look at us, you know, we promote people saying good degrees, good, you know, but at the end of it, it's not in the answers, not in your laptops, it's actually going to the field. Akhilesh learned this in 2012, you know, we all said, oh, this new age neta has come, but actually you have to work on the ground.
I mean, being around Delhi, many of these people with good degrees also want good bank accounts. And basically they want politics as a means of making a lot of money. And of course I must say that most of them have been very successful. I think the most successful startups are people who first have a startup in politics and then they do a startup anywhere else, usually with some government money or some government favor. So unfortunately that's the case in not only the BJP but the Samajwadi Party, I mean, I'm not sure about the Aam Aadmi Party, but definitely Congress is going on. I just want to make a point, Priya, that very frankly, from what I know, the Indian voter votes against an individual. In the last election in 2014, Narendra Modi won 70% because of Sonia Gandhi. The dislike of Sonia Gandhi was very intense. It's a different matter that after he came to power, he adopted a very soft policy towards Sonia Gandhi, and all the enemies, you know, he had in the BJP. He was a very generous person, like Mahatma Gandhi, and he accommodated all of them. So the team, I believe the team is 40% Manmohan team, 40% the Vajpayee team, and only 20% the Modi team. That's a different matter. But the reality is, demonetization is the biggest risk Prime Minister Modi has taken. If this turns out to be a negative risk, then the individual in opposition space who most goes against the Prime Minister will get the prize. That is where Rahul Gandhi has had a lot of tall talk about earthquakes, and we've not even seen a mild tremor. So unless Rahul Gandhi can deliver on his earthquake, and I'm really not sure he can, I think Rahul Gandhi is going to have a very rough time in politics.
Who's best placed to take on this anti-demonetization if there is such a wave? Rahul, Mamta, Akhilesh?
Well, I mean, I think of all the opposition leaders, person who's tried to position herself is Mamta, but you know, kind of she's been diffused. So I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. Unless somebody stands up and articulates, frankly, the person who has occupied that space is Manmohan Singh. You know, you look at the last 2.5 months and ask whose stand against demonetization has carried the greatest conviction. It is Dr. Manmohan Singh.
He's the one who basically pulled Urjit Patel's, out of trouble.
Naturally, because to protect the institution, and also Urjit was his appointee.
He's a former RBI governor.
Urjit was first appointed by Dr. Manmohan Singh.
Well, but, you know, it is a political fight, and I think that, you know, you need to move away from the RBI chief, maybe who should have shown more spine and stood up to the government, but I think ultimately, you know, the buck stops at the Prime Minister's table. So it has to be a fight against the Prime Minister.
Which is what Mamta and Rahul and all are doing. Well, that's it for now. Thank you for watching this show. We'll see you again same time next week.